Hi, in this video I'm going to try and give you some help on the answer to the question, how do you decide on product pricing? Because pricing is always an issue that people worry about, and that applies to your own products and, as you'll see a bit later, the products you promote. And basically, pricing is a minefield. There's no correct answer about the price you should charge for the products you create, and in the offline world it's just as chaotic. For instance, I buy my mum's groceries, so I end up knowing more about some prices than I'd like to know, and one of her favourites is instant porridge oats with golden syrup. And I can buy the box of sachets in my local supermarket for £2.58, about $3.50, something like that. Or I can get the identical box, same brand, same pack size, the whole lot, in a local pound store for £1. That's 2.5 times price difference for the exact same product, bought in two shops that are basically, must be all of 50 metres apart. And translated to a $10 internet marketing product, that would mean $25 in the right location. Shoppers in the supermarket are happy to pay the higher price, and the same goes with online prices. I've not done a precise survey, but my gut reaction is that JV Zoo seems to sell higher price products than Warrior Plus, and ClickBank's higher still, so that maybe affects where you should sell your product if you want to go for a higher price, although I personally still use Warrior Plus. But certainly a lot of the products I see on JV Zoo are $17 starting price rather than a sub $10 one that I see on Warrior Plus. ClickBank 27 upwards, maybe quite often 47. When he was alive, Gary Halbert, famous copywriter, famously said, "What advantage do you want?" they ask. And he said, "The only advantage I want," I reply, "is a starving crowd." You can read the whole of that particular article on the Gary Halbert letter website, and it holds just as true now as when he wrote it back in 1984. But essentially what he's saying is, if you're in front of a starving crowd, they'll give you money because they want to eat. And it affects the price you can charge. If there's a crowd of willing or starving buyers, you'll get more money than if they've just eaten or if they're only feeling peckish. And the copyright plays quite a large part in creating your starving crowd, and that's one of the reasons so many products, not just internet marketing ones, are laden with hype, images of success, and promises of as close to instant results as it's possible to make without falling too foul of legislation. If you're not sure about that, look into law of attraction in the self-help market. You could swap a couple of words and virtually everything else is exactly the same for internet marketing. And like the porridge oats, there's no reason to keep to one price. You can experiment. You may make more sales at a lower price, but overall profit at a higher price, even though you sell less units. I sell certain things on Warrior Plus, and I also sell them on Udemy, and pricing's different because it's a different market. For instance, 100 sales at $7 will just keep things simple, brings in 700. 50 sales at 17, 850. 25 sales at 27, a lower amount, 675. 10 sales at 97, 970. So if that was the case, and you won't know without testing, but certainly worth thinking about, then 10 sales would be the sweet spot to maximise income on the front end. But then it starts to get complicated if you didn't think it was complicated enough already. You'd have a number of different buyers on your list if those figures held true at the various price points. And buyers' lists are valuable. They've proven they can and do spend money. They're more likely to spend money again on your next product or promotion than people who are just interested in getting freebies. It's one of the reasons I don't like solo ads. So you may decide to home in on a lower priced tripwire product in order to get more buyers on your list, and that can work. Or you might decide you'd prefer people who aren't just on the adrenaline rush of $7 products, and you'd prefer the lower number of sales at a higher price point, and no marketers who do that. You might even decide you're going to price the product even higher, maybe $297, $497, and then promote it via a webinar. Could be the exact same product at all those different prices? Yeah, probably. You'd maybe need to add in a Skype call or a personal consultation or ongoing support at the really high price if you went for a couple of $1,000s or something. But I've seen cheap $7 products offer almost exactly the same as higher price products. So some of it's down to how comfortable you are with the price you're charging, and some of it's down to the expectation of your buyers. And I'd wager that people paying $297 will get better results than people paying $7 for near enough the same product. Why? Because they have a higher perception of the value of the product. That's one of the shortcuts we use, and if you're not sure, check out Robert Cialdini's book Influence for more detail. It's a classic on that, but life's too short to evaluate everything before we purchase, even if it was possible to do that. So with one of the things he does, the shortcut we do is price. More expensive equals better quality. Okay, tick. And all of that is a long way of saying that pricing products is pretty much inspired guesswork. Same goes for the products you promote, and for instance I promote a number of different binaural beats meditation products in the self-help arena. They all do basically the same thing. They change your brain's state to one of deep meditation whilst disguising that by playing a track of rainfall or other natural sounds. Most recently launched product takes 12 minutes per session and typically costs $47 as long as people take the what seems to be almost perpetual early discount and recognise that. Next most recently launched product, and it's from the same company, takes 30 minutes per session and costs $297. The one I use, because the others weren't around when I bought it, costs around about $100 depending on whether or not you get just the downloads or the CDs as well, and the sessions there last an hour. And the granddaddy of them all costs an order of magnitude more than that, hundreds of dollars per level, and takes years to complete versus weeks or months for the other products. It's personalised once you get beyond the first level, and I'm guessing that's as much copyright protection as anything else, and there are upsells to go on retreats, so it could easily cost you thousands. It still sells and people swear by it, probably because at that price point they're actually more likely to use it, but the results, they're essentially the same even on the cheapest $47 product level. As an affiliate, I actually make the most money most months from the cheapest product, but occasionally someone buys the $297 alternative and the 50% commission dwarfs the cheaper product with just one sale, because $150 versus $22 per item, yeah, quite a large difference. Unfortunately, it doesn't happen every week or month, but when it does, it's a very nice feeling. And the other nice part about that is when you make a comparison page, which is what I've done, you get both ends of the market. You get the people that want the expensive and people who want the it works and whatever. And you could equally create pages promoting each different product. That would work, and you could almost certainly do it on the same site as the one with the comparison pages. I've done that on a couple of the products, and it does work. Experimenting will help you work out which pricing option works best for you. My previous background was retail, and typically there, lower price, higher volume products, and that's where my comfort zone still lies. Your comfort zone may well be different. Some affiliate marketers I know only promote high ticket items, even as they're first sold to people, and they manage to earn a very nice living from that. Others prefer quantity of sales, and both those work. Which I guess means that pricing comes down to testing and, yeah, pretty much inspired guesswork. That reminds me of a web designer I met who, when asked how much a website would cost, said as much as a car. Think about that for a second. And the whole thing's down to personality and comfort as much as anything else, but of course you won't know until you actually test it yourself, and the start of the testing is to start actually selling stuff. If you'd like more help with your internet marketing, click the link below this video and join me. I'm sure you'll enjoy that as well, so go for it. Thanks for watching.